Hello everyone, this is Mahantesh Bhapri. Welcome to this video. In this video, we will learn a new chapter that is Treasure Island, and it is prescribed or selected for study for English first language for 10th class students. And it's a non-detailed text, means we cannot explain it in detail. The students have to read and students will have to enjoy and they will enjoy themselves. So this is the way how such texts can be read. ಆತ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಈ ತರದ ಪಾಠಗಳು ನೀವೇ ಓದಿ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪಾಠಗಳು, ಬಹಳ ಸರಳವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪಾಠಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇವು ಕಾದಂಬರಿ ಆಧಾರಿತ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆ ಆಧಾರಿತ ಪಾಠಗಳು ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ ನೀವೇ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ಓದುವ ರೂಢಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನಾನು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. So, as I told, its name is Treasure Island and it's written by R.L. Stevenson. It's written by R.L. Stevenson and it is taken from his novel called Treasure Island. What is the name of the novel? Treasure Island. Okay, and it is a brief story. It is a brief story which has been brought into short form. It's a big novel and it is abridged or it is made short in the form of a short story, right? Within 7 to 8 pages the whole story is shortened, right dear children? For readers purpose such things can be done by the author. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಇದೊಂದು ಬೃಹತ್ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ನಾವೆಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾದಂಬರಿ ಟ್ರೆಜರ್ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ 7-8 ಪೇಜ್ಗಳ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತಮಗೆ ಓದುಗರಿಗಾಗಿ ಹಚ್ಚಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಸರಿನಾ? ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಓದೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿತವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆಥರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬರಹಗಾರರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡೋಣ. Dear children, are you ready? Page number 129. Note on the author. The original novel, a romance, was written by Robert Louis Stevenson. So its original novel, it's written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮಹಾನ್ ಬರಹಗಾರರು ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಬರೀತಾರೆ. So he was born in 1850 and he died in 1894. A gifted storyteller. He was a gifted storyteller, means he was a storyteller who can narrate the whole incident in a very fine way. ಇವರೊಬ್ಬ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಥೆಗಾರರು. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ಓದುಗರವನ್ನು ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅದ್ಭುತ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಥೆಗಾರರು. He wrote several travel stories. So he wrote several travel stories. ಹಲವಾರು ಪ್ರವಾಸ ಕಥನಗಳು. ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರವಾಸ ಕಥನಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಬರೀತಾರೆ. And well loved novels like Kidnapped, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So he had written some beautiful novels called Kidnapped, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Black Arrow. So these three are the famous novels written by R.L. Stevenson. It is said that Treasure Island was written for amusement of his 12-year-old stepson. So this short story or this novel is written to entertain his 12-year son. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆಯನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾದಂಬರಿಯನ್ನ ಅವರ 12 ವರ್ಷದ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಮನರಂಜನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ನಾವೆಲ್. This simplified and abridged story would surely encourage you to read much more entertaining original novel. So this short story will make you to read the original novel. ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅವರು ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬೃಹತ್ ಕಾದಂಬರಿಯನ್ನು ಓದಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು, ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬರಹಗಾರರು ಆಥರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So dear children, are you ready then? So let's go to Treasure Island. Let's find what is there in the treasure. So before that, dear children, if you are watching our videos for the first time, please subscribe by pressing red colored subscribe button which is ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ತಾವು ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಎನ್ನುವ ಕೆಂಪು ಬಣ್ಣದ ಬಟನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಒತ್ತಿ ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಲಿಂಕ್ಗಳು ಸರಳವಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಲವಾರು ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. Right, dear children? So if you find our videos are good, please share them to your friends and students, dear teachers. Right? So are you ready? What is the name of the topic? Treasure Island. It's written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Right? Are you ready? So before that, have you heard about any treasure stories or the stories which can take place in the forest? You might have heard so many. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಹಲವಾರು ನೀವು ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಸಾಹಸ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಲವಾರು ಗುಂಪುಗಳನ್ನು ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಅಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಥೆ ಟ್ರೆಷರ್ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಎಂಜಾಯ್. Jim Hawkins' father and mother kept the Admiral Benbow Inn. So Jim is the hero. Jim is the hero of this treasure island. Jim's father and mother, so they were running a inn, a mess or hotel called Admiral Benbow. Jim's ನ ತಂದೆ ಮತ್ತು ತಾಯಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಜಿಮ್ಸ್ ಬೆನ್ಹೋ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಮೆಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Which was the only building in a lonely cove in the west of the England. So it was the lonely building on the cove of west of England. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಆ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ what is the meaning of that? Cove means it's a small bay. ಒಂದು ಸಮುದ್ರ ದಂಡೆಗೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಒಬ್ಬಂಟಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಹೋಟೆಲ್. It's a lonely building means the building was one. There were no such buildings nearby. One ice cold winter's day, a wizened old seaman with a saber scar across his face. So one winter, the time was winter. So one winter day, how was the winter? The winter was cold. And wizened seaman means weak by his age. He was just like a skeleton. ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸೊರಗು ಹೋಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಅಶಕ್ತ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಮುದ್ರದ ನಾವಿಕ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಹೋಟೆಲ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. With a saber scar across his face. So we can see saber cross, the scars made by sword. ಖಡ್ಗದಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ ಹಲವಾರು ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗಾಯ, ಮುಖದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಖಡ್ಗದಿಂದ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. Arrived at the inn and took a room. So he came to that inn, which in Jim Hawkins' father and mother, they were running an inn, and that seaman came to that inn. Jim's Hawkins' father mother in ಆ ಮೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ನಾವಿಕ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. And he took a room. So he took a room in that inn. So it was just like lodging also. His sole possession was an old sea chest. So he had only few things. He had only one thing, that is his sea chest. What is that? His sea chest. Sea chest means it's a wooden box. Sea chest means it's a wooden box. So that old man had only one thing, that is wooden box. So what is that called? Sea chest. ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಇತ್ತು, ಒಂದು ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. Which he guarded as a miser. So he was guarding that, he was protecting that guard as if miser. ಅದು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕಾಪಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. What is there? ಏನಿರಬಹುದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ? Hoards the fortune. He thinks that it is his fortune. ಅದು ಅವನ ಅದೃಷ್ಟ, ಸಂಪತ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೋತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಏನಿತ್ತು ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ? Billy as the old sea dog called himself. So he called himself Billy. What is his name? Billy. Seaman's name. So that seaman's name was Billy, and he calls himself old sea dog, means he was born and brought up on the sea. It means that his whole life has been spent on the sea in the boat. Told young Jim to keep a weather eye out of seafaring type one leg. So he told that he lost his one leg. One leg means he told that please take care of me, and gave him a 4 pence piece for his troubles. So that seaman Billy gave 4 pence. Pence is the currency of England. So he gave 4 pence for his troubles. So he gave 4 pence for his troubles or his expenditure. It is pity his generosity doesn't run paying rent. Jim's father grumbled. So this much is not enough. Jim's father grumbled means Jim's father was in great difficulty that he cannot run the inn. He cannot run the inn with some amount. He was in finance. He was difficult. He was facing difficult situations that he cannot run the inn in such low amount. ಅಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಜಿಮ್ಸ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Jim's father was having trouble making the run in pay. So he said that I cannot run the inn. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಆ ಒಂದು ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅವರು ನಡೆಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. And he was so ill that Jim and his mother feared he would not outlive the winter. So Jim's father was so ill. So he was not well. Jim's father ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಅಶಕ್ತರಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಬಳಲ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. He was suffering from some disease. So Jim's mother and Jim, so they have got fear that his father would not live up to winter. So ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಳಿಗಾಲದ ತನ ಉಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಪ್ಪ ದೇವ್ರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಚಳಿ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಚಳಿಯನ್ನು ತಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಉಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರು ದೇವರಿಗೆ ಬೇಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Are you following, dear children? During the evenings, Billy would sit in the corner of the bar. So it was as it was a Western custom and culture that Billy, so he sat in the bar and he was enjoying his drink. What is that drink? Rum, and he was singing. So no ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಆ ಬಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮದ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸೇವಿಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. So he was singing. What was the lines? What was the line he was singing? 15 men on the dead man's chest, yo ho ho ho, a bottle of rum. Whole day time would find on the rocks, looking nervously out to sea. So he was singing that 15 men on the dead man's chest. So 15 ಜನರು ಒಬ್ಬ ಸತ್ತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮೇಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Oh ho ho, and a bottle of rum he was enjoying. What he was enjoying? He was enjoying his drink. While daytime, he would find him on the rocks, looking nervously out to sea. So he was in the daytime. What he was doing? He was just watching the sea. It was several weeks after Billy's arrival that another mysterious seafaring man appeared. So after so many days that Billy arrived, one more person from the sea he arrived. So he was mysterious person, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ರಹಸ್ಯವಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. A swallow, evil looking fellow with 2 fingers missing. So who was that fellow? He was very weak and unhealthy. So that person was unhealthy. He was very weak and he had 2 fingers missing. ಅವನ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಬೆರಳುಗಳು ಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿರ್ತವೆ, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ವೀಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. He argued with Billy. So he might have known Billy. Billy ಪರಿಚಯ ಇರಬಹುದು. He argued with Billy. Billy ಜೊತೆ ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. And in no time 2 men were fighting furiously. So within no time they were fighting. ಕೆಲವು ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಬ್ರು ಜಗಳಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಜಗಳಾಡಿರಬಹುದು? Wounded, and stranger was put to flight. So he was wounded. That stranger who came there, so he was wounded and he ran away. Put flight means he ran away. But Billy was left stretched out on the floor. So Billy was left stretched means Billy ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಗಾಯ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವನು ಫ್ಲೋರಿಂಗ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನೆಲದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತಾನೆ. Gasping for breath. He was gasping for long breath. ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಉಸಿರು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. Dr. Livesey, who had come to treat Jim's ailing father. So there was a doctor who came to give treatment for Jim's father. Jim's father treatment ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ Livesey. Please underline. This is one more character. Please, the Dr. Livesey came to treat Jim's father. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಉಪಚಾರ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ Livesey. ಅವಾಗ ಜಿಮ್ಸ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬಿಲಿ he had a stroke. ಬಿಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೋಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. He bled him. He bled him, put him up to his bed and forbade him any more rum. So doctor, he bled him means he was bleeding, means he was wounded, he was bleeding, and doctor told please take rest and don't drink rum and other things. So dear children, are you following? Let's go to further. Billy called Jim to his side. So Billy called Jim to his side means Billy called Jim. Jim was a younger son of that owner of the inn. So he called, hey Jim, come here. His eyes burned with fever as he spoke. So that seaman, Billy's eyes were burning and he was suffering from fever and he spoke. I must shift before Lubers gets to me and gives me the black spot. See, I must shift before the Lubers. Lubers means pirates. ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಕಳ್ಳರು, ಸಮುದ್ರ ನಾವಿಕರು ಅಥವಾ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಕಳ್ಳರು ನನ್ನ ಹುಡುಕಿದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚಿತವಾಗಿ gives me the black spot. Black spot ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೊಂದು ರಹಸ್ಯವಾದ ಸ್ಥಳವನ್ನು ಹೇಳು. Jim asked him to explain. So Jim asked why do you want, ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ Billy said that the black spot was a pirate summons. So that black spot pirate summons. Our black spot ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನೇ ಅವನು ಓಡ್ ಹೋಗಿದನಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ಹೋಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. He had been a member of notorious Captain Flint's crew. So that seaman was one of the crew. ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಕಳ್ಳರ ಒಂದು ಸಂಘದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಳ್ಳರ ಒಂದು ಸಮೂಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? ಬಿಲ್ಲಿ. So he said that notorious means famous in bad things. So Captain Flint was the leader of that gang sea or pirates. Please underline Captain Flint. Crew means staff. So that group. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. And he was afraid they were coming to do for him and steal his old sea chest. ಅವ್ರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ವುಡನ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. But Jim soon forgot Billy's problems. So Jim forgot all Billy's problems. ಅವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮರೆತು ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. For later the night the doctor told him that his father had died. So doctor told Jim and his mother that Jim's father had died late night. ಅವರ ತಂದೆ ತೀರಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. The same day Jim's father was laid to rest. A blind old pirate called Blind Flew came to the Admiral Benbow. ಅದೇ ದಿವಸ Jim's father ಅಂತ್ಯಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So they completed all funeral functions. Then came one more person, a blind old pirate. So he was blind and his name was Blind Few, who came to that Admiral Benbow. Admiral Benbow ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಹೆಸರು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Jim unwillingly led him into bar. So Jim, without having any will, so he took that person to bar. So it might in that hotel there might be one bar, lodging, hotel like that. So he took that new person, Blind Few, to the bar, where he slapped a circular piece of black paper into Bill's hand, and before he could avoid him, so he gave one blue paper to that Billy. ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ Blind Few ಒಂದು ಏನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅವನ ಕೈಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. By the time blind few had taken his leave again, so after giving that paper, blind few went away. Billy lay gasping on the floor. So Billy lay gasping. So Billy was again gasping for breath and he was suffering. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದು ಒದ್ದಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. Dying of massive stroke. So he was dying of massive stroke. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಲೈಸಿಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸಫರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. His last words were that the pirates would be upon him that same evening. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಯಾರು ಬಿಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಮುದ್ರ ಕಳ್ಳರು, ಪೈರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಕಳ್ಳರು ತನ್ನ ಎದೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಕೊಲ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಭಯವನ್ನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. Jim and his mother quickly searched through Billy's precious sea chest. So Jim's mother and Jim, they searched Billy's wooden box. What was the name of that wooden box? Sea chest. ಆ wooden box ಅನ್ನು ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. His mother took as much coins as to cover the old pirate's rent. Who was old pirate? Billy, who died. ಅವನ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಣವನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾಳ ಜಿಮ್ಸನ್ ತಾಯಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ನಾಟ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಎ ಪೆನ್ನಿ ಮೋರ್, ಒಂದ್ ಅರ್ಧ ಪೆನ್ನಿನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. While Jim found an intricate bundle of papers. So Jim found some bundle of papers, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು bundle of papers ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. And wrapped in oil cloth. ಅವನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸುತ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಎಣ್ಣೆ ಹತ್ತಿದ ಬಟ್ಟೆಯಿಂದ ಸುತ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Which he pocketed as payment for his services. So he took those papers as payment. ಅದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದರ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಬರಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Alarmed by loud voices. So many people came. Loud voices, ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. Jim and his mother fled out into the night and hid. So Jim ಮತ್ತು ಅವನ ತಾಯಿ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಅಡಗಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. As blind few and several pirates arrived. Blind few ಮತ್ತು several pirates, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು pirates ಸಮುದ್ರ ಕಳ್ಳರು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. And proceeded to ransack the inn. So they were searching something. So they searched the whole inn. ಇಡೀ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Blind few and pirates were outraged that what they sought from Billy's sea chest had gone missing. So they were searching Billy's sea chest. ಅವರು ಆ ವುಡನ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಸಿಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. Knowing that Jim and his mother could not have gone, for they rushed outside. So ಅವರು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜಿಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅವನ ತಾಯಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಹೋಗಿರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೊರಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹುಡುಕಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. But before they could find fugitives, they were ridden down by several horsemen. Ridden down means some horsemen were there, so they searched here and there. Jim and his mother saw that their saviors were revenue officers. So ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲವು ಜನರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Who had been tipped off that there was a pirate ship moored nearby. So ಅವರು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೈರೇಟ್ ಶಿಪ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವರು ಕಳ್ಳರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. The rest of the pirates had escaped. ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಶಿಪ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಯಾರೋ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಈ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಕಳ್ಳರು ಹೊರಡ್ತಾರೆ. But blind few lay dead on the ground where he had been knocked down by one of the horses. So blind few lay dead. Blind few ಸತ್ತೋಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ನ ಕಾಲುಗಳಿಂದ ತುಳಿಯಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ತೀರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. Are you ready? So dear children, try to enjoy. This is a beautiful story and a very interesting story. Try to enjoy. So such stories are meant for enjoyment. While his mother was cared for by his friends. So his mother was cared by his friends. Whose friends? Jim's friends took care of his mother. Jim's ತಾಯಿಯನ್ನ Jim's ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೆಳೆಯರು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. Jim was taken to a square Trelvin's house where Dr. Livesey happened to be dining. So Jim was taken. So Jim went to Trelvin's house. ಅಲ್ಲಿ Jim Trelvin's house ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಲೆವ್ಸೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. The square and the doctor were local magistrates. So ಅವರಿಬ್ರು local ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ನ್ಯಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ಬಗೆಹರಿಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. And asked to be told all that he had happened that evening. ನಡೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಘಟನೆಯನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. When Jim had finished his story, when Jim told a complete story what had happened that evening, he produced the papers he had taken. ಕೆಲವು papers ನ ಅವ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. Adding that he was sure that they were what pirates had been searching for. So ಇದೇ papers ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಪೈರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಕಳ್ಳರು ಹುಡುಕ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. The two men were in complete agreement. So who were the two men? Dr. Livesey and Jim. So they came to agreement. On the agreement ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. For that they had before was treasure map. So they found a treasure map. ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೆಜರ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. Showing where Buchanan Captain Flint had buried his booty. Booty means booty. Booty means treasure. Booty means treasure. Please note down dear children. It's a local word. Booty means treasure. So where that Captain Flint buried his treasure. Square, Trelawney and Dr. Livesey hurried and made plans a voyage to the island where the treasure lay buried. So they made for voyage ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಪತ್ತು ಹುಡುಕೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Jim was to be their cabin boy. So Jim also went there. The square traveled to Bristol. Square was the person. Square and doctor, they traveled to Bristol. Bristol is the place where he bought a fine schooner called Hypsipeluna. What is the name of that ship? Hespilona. Okay. Hespilona is the name of that ship which they purchased. Hespilona. As well as hiring sea captain. So they hired sea captain. So they appointed sea captain, and ship's cook was to be a one-legged old sailor called Long John Silver. See. So they hired ship's captain and cook. So that cook was one-legged, means his one leg was cut off. ಒಂದು ಕಾಲು ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲು ಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕುಕ್ಕನ್ನು ನೇಮಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. His name was John Silver. Long John Silver means he was tall. Who had given Square Trelawney a invaluable help in picking the rest of the crew. So that Long John Silver helped Square and Doctor for appointing so many people needed. ಅವಶ್ಯಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನರನ್ನು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಜಿಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಈವ್ ಆಫ್ ದೇರ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಚರ್. ಜಿಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋಗುವ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ ಜಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಬ್ಸೆನ್ಸ್ then apprentice was hired to help his mother to run Admiral Benbow. ಜಿಮ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಜಿಮ್ಸ್ ಮದರ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ನೇಮಕ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. At the first, Jim wondered whether Long John Silver was the same one-legged buccaneer that old Billy had been so worried about. So at first, Jim wondered. So Jim thought that ಈ one-legged buccaneer, ಈ old pirate ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇವನು ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಇರಬಹುದೇನೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. But the ship's cook nicknamed barbecue means ಅವನ ನಿಕ್ನೇಮ್ ಏನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಾರ್ಬೆಕ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಾರ್ಬೆಕ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ had such a pleasing manner. So he has got some pleasing manner, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾನೆ. And was very friendly that he soon forgot all his doubts. So Jim forgot all his doubts. When Jim, the doctor, Square Trelawney went aboard the Hispelina the next morning. So they started their journey. Captain Smollett demanded an urgent word with them. So Captain Smollett wanted to talk all people. And he said he was unhappy that he had no hand in choosing his crew. ನಾನು ಕೇಳಾರ್ದ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಜನರು ನೇಮಕ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಗೆರಿರ್ತಾನೆ. And was unhappier still that everyone knew that they were sailing for treasure. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. The square admitted he had been unwise to let slip their secret. So everyone wanted to keep their secret. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ತಮ್ಮ ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಾಪಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ. And promised that he would keep the treasure map hidden from everyone. ಆ treasure map ಅನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಂದ ಕಾಪಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. The Hispelina set sail on the evening tide and was soon making excellent progress. So that ship started journey and it was making excellent, means it was traveling, it was moving on the sea excellently. And the sleek schooner performed admirably even in heavy seas. So even in heavy tides, so it moved gently. And Captain Smollett had to agree that in spite of his misgivings, the crew could not falter. So Captain Smollett, who was the leader of that ship, and he agreed that there were no mistakes by his crew. Each man went about his duty in good spirits. So everyone did his work. None more than Long John Silver with his parrot. So Long Silver had his own parrot, and Captain Flint on his shoulder, squawking pieces of eight. So Captain Flint was speaking something that pieces of eight, ಎಂಟು ಜನರು ಬೇಕು, ಎಂಟು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಎಂಟು ವಸ್ತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವನು ಹಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. And so voyage proceeded without hitch and there was treasury fort. So everyone was making treasury, everyone was making their own plan. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ತಮ್ಮದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗದಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ. Late one evening that Hispelina neared the destination. So ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಗುರಿಯನ್ನ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ. Jim went looking for an apple to eat. So Jim was searching for apple to eat, but finding apple barrel nearly empty. So that apple barrel, the apple box was empty. Apple ತಿನ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾನೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇನೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. He climbed right into it. ಅದನ್ನ ಹತ್ತಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಏನು ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. While hidden inside it, he overheard a conversation between Long John Silver and ship's coxswain. So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ಬಂದ್ರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೇಳೋಣ ಏನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾರಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು, ನೀವು ಚಿತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು, ಲಾಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾರಲ್ ಜಿಮ್ ಕೂತಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಜಾನ್ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪೈರೇಟ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕದ್ದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. In which Silver boasted of his piracy with Captain Flint, who had died of drink, and of his plan to kill skipper, Squire and doctor once the treasure was found. So they were planning that after finding the treasure, they wanted to kill doctor, Captain Square and everybody. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Jim was terribly afraid that he would be found out. So ಅವನಿಗೆ ಭಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಗುರುತಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಭಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. But just then a cry ran out of the roasted entire ship. So there was a big cry. ಯಾರೋ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಕೂಗ್ತಾರೆ. For in the moonlight the land had been sighted. So there was a moonlight, the ship was moving and everybody was making their own treasure plans, cunning plans. Okay, so this is what the first video. So if I continue here, so it will become a lengthy video. So dear children, I want to stop here and next part. So this chapter is explained in 4 parts. So because it's a long one, it's a big chapter. So I make 4 parts in this chapter. So this is first part, Treasure Island. So let's complete or let's meet in the next video, that is Treasure Island part 2, the remaining chapter. So dear children, still if you have not subscribed our channel, please subscribe our channel and keep watching the second video. So till then, please take care and let's meet in the second video. Till then, thank you very much.